Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight on our news, will the Bahamas get AstraZeneca vaccine donations from the U.S.? The Prime Minister weighs in. Why the tourism minister says the industry is seeing more interest after new vaccine travel perks are announced. Plus, government talks resolving water supply issues on Eleuthera. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says government is working hard to secure more doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine for the country. This as he notes there isn't any confirmation on whether the Bahamas will receive any of the millions of doses of the vaccine the U.S. is donating to other countries. Kyle Joaquin reports.
No, but we've been continuously, aggressively searching for vaccines, and I'm certain that we will find the necessary amount to vaccinate our entire population.
Minnis says the goal is to have enough COVID-19 vaccines to cover every Bahamian. It comes just days after Health Minister Randall Wells confirmed that the government is trying to secure some of the 60 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine U.S. President Joe Biden said the country is giving out to others. Minnis says for him, getting more Bahamians vaccinated is priority one.
I'm more concerned about saving lives and livelihoods. I'm more concerned about getting our economy back and running, and our populace working, and having more tourists come here and moving the stress on travel and the cost of travel through the Bahamas.
On Thursday, Minnis suggested that more business owners push their employees who don't want to get the vaccine to take a weekly RT-PCR test, which is the more costly option. He doubled down on that today while speaking to Eleuthera residents.
And you must consider those who are not vaccinated to possibly get a PCR test weekly. That would keep your business functioning, running.
While on the podium, Minnis also pointing to concerns about side effects from the vaccine, more particularly blood clots.
Clotting the vaccines are very rare. And for those of you who are thinking of becoming pregnant, or those who are pregnant, you are at greater risk for clot formation than the vaccine. Now, I know you want to get pregnant. I know you will be taking the birth control pill.
Again, the Prime Minister says the government is working very hard to secure even more doses of the vaccine for the country. Reporting from Eleuthera for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, more than a week after the Minnis administration announced plans to allow fully vaccinated travelers to the Bahamas without a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says interest is increasing. This as the Tourism Minister continued to defend the move despite continued criticism. Jasmine Brown has that.
The tourism minister giving a brief but candid response when asked if he thinks the upcoming travel requirements will make the Bahamas a more desirable destination.
Absolutely.
For months now, those traveling to the Bahamas from other countries have been required to test negative for COVID-19 by way of an RT-PCR test within 5 days before entering the country. Travelers are also required to undergo a follow-up rapid antigen test after 5 days in the Bahamas. Those traveling domestically from New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Eleuthera are also required to submit the results of a negative RT-PCR test up to 5 days before travel and undergo follow-up rapid antigen tests after 5 days. However, in the House of Assembly last week, Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced that fully vaccinated people traveling both domestically and internationally will be exempted from those testing requirements. De Aguilar says the fact of the matter is the current travel requirements just aren't all that attractive.
Obviously, the current protocols to enter the Bahamas, getting a PCR test 5 days before, applying for a visa, doing a 5-day rapid antigen test 5 days after you've been here. These are all impediments to travel. These all cause consternation for the traveler. And so as they begin to fall away, we feel that travel interest in the Bahamas will improve and more travelers will begin to come to the Bahamas.
While many have raised concerns over the potential for vaccinated people to still catch and transmit COVID-19 to others, De Aguilar says recent evidence is showing that to be unlikely.
We're trying to encourage vaccinated persons to come to our country because the studies show that, first of all, if they have the vaccine, they are less likely to get sick while they're here. And second, the less likely to spread the virus onto someone else. So we're trying to encourage vaccinated persons to come to our country because they are the safest type of traveler to have.
Meantime, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control still requires people entering the United States from abroad to be tested for COVID-19. Barbados, which recently updated its travel protocols, still requires fully vaccinated travelers to test negative for COVID-19 with an RT-PCR test before arrival in the country, undergo another PCR test upon arrival, and quarantine until the test results are provided. As cases in the country have surged in recent weeks, the CDC moved the Bahamas back to a level 4 advisory last week, advising travelers to avoid the country because there is a very high level of COVID-19. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, parliamentarians and House of Assembly staff members were invited to the office of the Prime Minister for free COVID-19 testing today. This after a House of Assembly staffer tested positive for the virus earlier this week. But House Speaker Halson Moultrie is slamming the exercise as a political sham and a face-saving measure. Berthany McDermott reports.
Why the office of the Prime Minister for the test? Is this yet another instance of the Prime Minister having to have everything revolve around him?
The invitation was sent to parliamentarians the day after Moultrie accused the executive of disrespecting his authority in the House of Assembly. He also charged that measures weren't taken to ensure the safety of parliamentary staff and others after it was confirmed that the House clerk had contracted COVID-19.
In my opinion, it was a purely political exercise of damage control and saving face.
The Speaker says today's exercise is yet another example of the disrespect shown to his office. Here's why.
If there was going to be such an undertaking at the office of the Prime Minister, the presiding officers of Parliament, the President of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House of Assembly should have been notified well in advance of even the members being notified.
Moultrie also hit out at the way government went about conducting the exercise. He said he wasn't invited until sometime after 6 p.m. Thursday evening.
Well, I don't need the Prime Minister or the Cabinet to pay for a test for me personally. I went and I got my own test. The question and the issue was for the assistance for members of staff.
When asked to respond to the Speaker's accusation today, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said he is more concerned about saving lives and getting the economy back on track. Meantime, despite his challenges, Moultrie says he is looking forward to presiding over House proceedings on Monday, adding that he will function professionally and impartially. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Relatives of Hurricane Dorian victims may have new hope in identifying their missing loved ones. Jared Higgs tells us a witness was today encouraged to provide a fresh DNA sample.
Coroner Janine Reach Gomez giving the advice to Peter Davis as he testified in the Dorian inquest over Zoom from Abaco about his brother, Ezra Davis's fate during Hurricane Dorian. She told Davis that if he hadn't heard back about the DNA sample he provided to police, it is likely that is because there was no match. But she says officials are willing to try a new DNA testing method, adding that the initial scientific method used for DNA testing did not quite work because of salt water and other elements. She encouraged Davis to get in touch with officers in New Providence about the new sample. The Sandy Point resident told the court that his brother stayed in Marsh Harbor on a back road near the mechanic shop during Hurricane Dorian. After they couldn't get through to him, he and another relative went and found his home in ruins. A friend told Davis that he dropped his brother off and offered to take him somewhere safer, but he said he would be fine where he was. The elder Davis, who was well known to the Marsh Harbor community, was never found. When asked what he thought happened to his brother, an emotional Davis replied, "To be honest, I really don't hope that he's gone, but my mother in New York really needs closure." After composing himself, he told the court that he hoped that the DNA testing would provide a match for one of the bodies that was discovered. He says if his brother was alive, he would have been in touch with their mother and sister. Reach Gomez then encouraged him to contact the Missing Persons Unit about trying the new DNA method. The coroner's court doesn't issue death certificates, but Reach Gomez says on the strength of the evidence given during the inquest, a coroner's certificate will be issued to certify the individuals as missing and presumed dead. They can then take those certificates to the Registrar General's Department in order to obtain death certificates. The inquest continues next Thursday. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says government is working on bringing resolution to fears of Eleuthera being left without running water.
I think that matter is being resolved. I've spoken with the Minister of Works this morning, and I've spoken to both he and the Financial Secretary. And as I speak to you now, they're aggressively resolving that matter.
Eleuthera was one of several Family Island communities threatened with losing water supply in the coming days if the Water and Sewage Company doesn't settle an outstanding debt. Reverse osmosis plant operator Aqua Design Bahamas is responsible for the water supply on that island. Well, sunny and pleasant conditions on New Providence today. Greg is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. On this TGIF Friday evening, very warm conditions outside our studios. Temperatures are in the upper 70s, 77 outside our studios with just a few clouds, almost cloud-free. Warm temperatures, south winds at 5 knots, very light out there, and your field slight temperature, very warm, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite view around the area. Beautiful conditions across the islands, the exception being Grand Bahama. You guys seeing some showers and possibly some isolated showers will continue tonight as that cloud mass hangs across you. Beautiful conditions expected for the rest of the evening. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News. Our News takes you inside the vaccine rollout in smaller settlements, and government and shantytown representatives clash in today's court hearing. That's coming up when Our News returns.
He's so funny. Boy, I don't care what last email I saw your boy. So cute. And he cute. So you like this boy now? Hey, did you blow your nose already before you got here? I did. But before we start, I must say, boy, listen, I never do this before. I go with. I go on. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. My wife leave me, boy. Oh, shoot, it's curfew.
As the Family Island rollout continues, residents of Grand Key lined up to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Jillian Gray has that.
It doesn't mean that, I don't have to wear my mask, I don't have to wash my hands, I don't have to social distance. You continue to do those until 2 weeks after your second shot.
22 residents of Grand Key get a pep talk as they wait outside their local clinic, eager to take the first jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine today. While it was mostly the elderly who showed up, the first dose on the island went to a 22-year-old special needs boy who came with his mom to get vaccinated.
I have a special son, and he don't wear a mask, so try to get him safe. Then I always traveling, so I try to get mine because I always travel to the U.S.
Eula May Heel says she was trying to get her father to come as well, but to no avail.
I was speaking to the people and everybody, my father's supposed to take it today, and he's 84 and he changed his mind, so I don't want to force him.
While some may have apprehensions, this grandmother says she's tired of missing special moments with her grandkids.
I'm ready to travel.
You ready to travel?
Yes.
Where's the first stop? Where are you going?
Vero Beach.
Okay. What happens in Vero Beach?
I haven't seen my grandchildren in over a year.
Oh, wow.
So, and every time I see pictures, they are growing bigger and bigger, like they're leaving me behind. I'm missing all the excitement.
And when it comes to the shot itself...
That's it? Mm-hmm. Oh, God. And I can take another one.
During the usual 15-minute observation, healthcare workers took the time to ensure residents knew the common side effects. More than 5,000 residents have been vaccinated in Grand Bahama so far, and there have been no adverse reactions, according to officials. Dr. Dennis Kihanu says he hopes more people come out to get vaccinated.
With the COVID pandemic changing all throughout the world, I hope a lot more people will get the vaccine, though.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Attorneys for the government and shantytown residents clashing in court today over the demolition of structures on Abaco earlier this month. Jared Higgs has the details from court.
Attorney for Respect Our Homes Limited and 177 Shantytown residents, Fred Smith QC, asked government's lawyers to have their clients stop any demolition in Abaco until a decision on the injunction is made. Smith contends that if government thinks somebody is violating the injunction by building in a shantytown, that person should be brought to court for contempt proceedings. He argued that the government took matters into its own hands when it ordered 45 unoccupied and unfinished structures to be demolished earlier this month. He begged government to have compassion and accused it of not respecting the rule of law, saying that demolition should pause until the matter is concluded. Counsel for the AG's office, Kayla Green-Smith, replied, saying the structures that were recently demolished by government in the farm shantytown have nothing to do with the matter at hand. She fired back, urging Mr. Smith's clients to have respect for the rule of law, pointing to drone images from March 14th that show that the farm shantytown has grown from 28 structures post-Hurricane Dorian to 175 structures. Another government lawyer, David Higgins, furthered the argument that the farm residents aren't protected by the injunction because they aren't Fred Smith's clients. He told the court that contempt proceedings would therefore be futile. But Smith insists that he represents everybody living in an ethnic Haitian community via the first-named applicant Respect Our Homes Limited. He says the case is a constitutional one in addition to a judicial review. He adds that the action is an umbrella for all Haitian ethnic communities, which they accuse the government of discriminating against. Smith has sought a broadening of an injunction that prevents government from evicting residents or destroying buildings in shantytowns. He wants it extended to cover Abaco more broadly. Justice Cheryl Grant-Thompson didn't rule on the injunction, but she asked for the status quo to remain on both sides. The matter was adjourned to May 21st, when government will finish giving its reply to the applicant's submissions. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
When our news comes back from the break, Eleuthera residents get their own passport office, and Marcellus Hall has the sports lineup when our news returns.
He's so funny. Boy, I don't care about Leslie Miller. I saw your boy so cute. And he cute. So you like this boy now? Hey, did you blow your nose already before you got here? I did. But before we start, I must say, boy, listen, I never do this before. I go with. Hey. I go on. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. My wife leaving me, boy. Oh, shoot, it's curfew.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Eleuthera residents no longer have to travel to New Providence for a new passport. The island's passport office officially opened today, with Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield calling it a great moment for Eleutherans.
I'm very pleased to be here today in fulfillment of that initiative led by the Prime Minister and this administration, as we cause Eleuthera to join with Nassau, with Grand Bahama, with Abaco, with Inagua, with Exuma and Long Island, to possess its own passport office for the benefit of Eleutherans.
The passport office is located in the Administrators Complex in Governor's Harbor. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis.
Following up on our 2017 manifesto pledge, my government is bringing services closer to the people who require them. The opening of the 4 satellite passport offices in Inagua, Exuma, Long Island, and Governor's Harbor is proof of our work to fulfill this commitment.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the learning landscape, taking many classes from in-person to virtual settings. Cable Bahamas Business Solutions is helping schools to ride the wave of the digital shift with an all-in-one learning management solution. CBBS Head of Major and Government Accounts, Javier Bo, says Smart Term is the one-stop shop for educators to efficiently teach and manage every aspect of the school system.
From initial setup of your account, if your student passes the initial exam, it sets up an account for them, and from then straight to their graduation, there's one account. So it's a learning management tool and it's an education management information system. So it's all in one. So it allows the school to operate more efficiently by doing everything in one system as opposed to adding different elements to one system.
As a provider of high-speed, reliable internet to schools, Bo says customers can be assured that the system is with the best network, Cable Bahamas. Meanwhile, Smart Term gives teachers the ability to better track, provide insights, and personalize learning for each student.
So it allows the teachers to, one, host their classes, all right, mark the grades, send transcripts, assign homework. They can do all of that through this one system called Smart Term. At the end of the day, it also has a financial aspect to it that allows the school to be able to better manage costs for every student in one system.
The CBBS team provides live demos on request, and Bo says all data is housed in country. Well, Jazz Chisholm on the injured list for the Marlins, and a Bahamian pro volleyball player helps win a championship in Romania. Marcellus Hall has the rundown.
Thanks so much, and welcome to our Sports on a Friday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. You're wondering why you haven't seen Jazz Chisholm on the field as of late for the Marlins. No worries. Well, not really real concern anyway. Jazz on the 10-day injured list after suffering a hamstring pull in the last game he played trying to steal second base. He would eventually finish off the inning by scoring, but taken out for precautionary reasons, he has since been placed on a 10-day IL, should be back on the field in short order. Moving on to some volleyball news, where the country has 3 professional volleyball players currently playing in Europe. One of them, Eugene Stewart, appearing on our edition of The Locker Room this evening and told us about winning a championship in Romania, of all places. He talked about how he first got the idea, or rather how he first got the invitation, and what happened after.
Man, so let me tell you, during the pandemic, it was so tough to find offers from my agent. Every couple of days I would check in with him. Hey, have you heard any offers? Hey, any updates? Stuff like this. And so I think it was maybe the last week in August, my agent came up to me and said, hey, I'm contacting this team from Romania. They may be interested in you. I'll keep you updated. So at first I was like, Romania? Who goes there? Like, who goes there? Like, what Bahamian goes there, right? So we continue texting. He updates me every once in a while, like, hey, I'm still talking with them. Hey, I'm still talking with them. And then he finally comes and he sends me my offer and he says, hey, this is what they want to do for one season. And I said, okay, let's go with it. And 2 days later, I packed all my things and I was in Romania. When I first started training with the team, the actual trainings, I had some shoulder pain, some knee pain, fatigue and stuff like this. And I told my coach about it. And my coach basically said, if you want to work, you need to work, So it wasn't even like a pity party at that point.
No, they didn't want to hear no long story.
He ain't trying to hear none of that. He said, listen, man, you here to work and we want to work with you. So we had to get the ball rolling, So I came here, and from September 8th, I was working every day, every night, just getting better at my craft,
And there it is, your check on sports for this Friday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Have a great weekend. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. The weekend weather outlook with Greg is still ahead. Plus, a primary school shows off its math skills. Stay with us.
He's so funny. Boy, I don't care about Leslie Miller. I saw your boy so cute. And he cute. So you like this boy now? Hey, did you blow your nose already before you got here? I did. But before we start, I must say, boy, listen, I never do this before. I go with. I go on. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. My wife leave me, boy. Oh shoot, it's curfew.
Welcome back to our news. Beautiful, clear conditions ahead for the weekend. Here's Greg in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christina, and welcome again, everybody, on this Friday evening weather segment, your second look at weather. Satellite view around the region. We are under the influence of high pressure system out the Atlantic stretching across us, and high pressure in the Gulf of Mexico. That's actually in the mid and upper levels. That will continue to dominate our weather over the next several days. Frontal boundary will sag to near the northwest Bahamas, but that is expected to lift back towards the north by early next week. And we will continue to see those sunny, hot and warm temperatures over the next several days. Boating forecast, beautiful boating conditions through the weekend. South to southwest winds 10 to 15 knots in the northwest Bahamas, seas running 2 to 4 feet. Those winds will fall light and variable at times. While in the central and southeastern islands, southeast to south winds 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet. Your high tide will be at 11:42 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Wednesday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night and have a great weekend, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. What do you get when you add art, music, and math? You get a Junkanoo-inspired math vocabulary costume parade and competition, the conclusion of Math Month at Palmdale Primary. Principal Phyllis Johnson and Education District Superintendent Marsha Roberts say the annual celebration keeps the students engaged.
Our students were engaged in a variety of activities which were not limited to problem-solving opportunities, mathletics in the square, math bingo, and today we will culminate with a math parade.
Here at Palmdale Primary, we are still trying as much as possible to keep things normal within the lives of our children.
Parents were also applauded for helping the school to adhere to COVID safety protocols. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas. A new episode of For the Love of Music is up next.